this judge, Aileen Canon. She is the judge at the Federal District Court of the Southern District of Florida. She was appointed to the court. Again, judges are important, ladies and gentlemen. She was appointed to the federal judiciary in the lame duck session after Donald Trump lost the election. It's not unprecedented. It's happened in the past. I think Stephen Breyer was actually appointed to the judiciary for the first time in a lame duck session during Carter's, when Carter was leaving. But nevertheless,
your favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Trump was pretty specific on the judges he was appointing, that they all be extremely right-wing and very often loyal to him. This was not a judge who had a extensive legal career prior to being appointed. But be that as it may.
She's a millennial, right? Born in the 80s?
Yeah, I think so. And she has decided that a special master will be appointed. This is going to sound a little convoluted because her reasoning is absolutely bizarre.
It's Trump's reasoning.
It's Trump's reason, but it really is. It really is bizarre. A special master. Understand, there is not a single document that Donald Trump that is in contention here that Donald Trump is the owner of.
Yeah.
These are all government documents that are not supposed to leave the government. When he is no longer president, they belong in the National Archives. Period. End of story. There is no other story here. The National Archives, the DOJ, they're all part of the executive branch. So there's a sort of temporal break here.
Yeah.
And a spatial break here in her ruling. So I wanted just to lay out those specific things. There were documents that were taken. The warrant called for anything in these boxes, because they knew they were in boxes, the documents, must be taken. And then what happens is a filtering team, which has nothing to do with the investigation, and this is standard practice, goes through and makes sure that all the documents that they keep comport with the warrant. And anything that doesn't is immediately given back to the subject of the warrant. And that's what happened. So passports, stuff about his like COVID and whatever.
And that framed Time magazine photo that Charlie Kirk said was a special message from the deep state.
Exactly.
All back to its rightful owner.
Documents regarding how much he weighs, stuff like that, all sent back to Trump.
So that serves as what the special master is supposed. That is what this function is.
No. Because there's this other theory. I mean, ostensibly, that's what it would be.
I'm speaking as a rational person.
Right. But here's the thing. The special master is supposed to, like, in some instances, determine which documents belong to whom. But these are all government documents.
We already know.
Yeah, and can I just make one other point? It's also often used, special masters, when you're going into like law offices where like 99% of the documents aren't related to the actual person. This isn't a law office, it's Mar-a-Lago. So that's another reason why it doesn't make sense.
Yes. But even if you didn't trust the FBI filtering team, which she clearly doesn't, since they've looked at everything already, you could allow the special master to work through the 11,000 documents and the DOJ to continue their investigation, but she's not allowing that. Then on top of all that, which is wackadoodle and arguably unprecedented, I don't know. She is having the special master determine whether they are subject to executive privilege. But here is the part that is both a temporal, well, particularly a temporal, a break here, and spatial one. Donald Trump is not the executive anymore. He is no longer president. There is no post-executive privilege. Nixon tried to assert that, and they laughed at him. There is no post-executive privilege. Barack Obama can't step in and go, hey, wait a second. I'm exerting executive privilege over his executive privilege. It's not happening.
And then Bush, and then Clinton,
Exactly.
and then he can be the final say. There we go.
There you go. The oldest president, Carter, right, is still alive.
Carter
will come in and do so. So that's the biggest sort of like, this is ridiculous. The executive is Joe Biden. Joe Biden has the ability to say executive privilege on those documents. But here's the other part. Executive privilege is to prevent other entities in the government outside of the executive branch from looking at them, specifically Congress. No one in this investigation at this point is anybody but within the executive. All of these documents, whatever the special master decides at one point, are going to go back to the National Archives because Trump doesn't get to keep government documents. And the only thing that the FBI is interested in or could possibly charge him on is based upon those government documents. So it's one thing to say, like, we don't want the FBI to see the fact that, Donald Trump weighs 440 pounds because it's bad for his image. And so we want the special master to overlook this stuff, even though that they've already looked at this. But at the end of the day, there is no thing that the special master can do that will prevent these documents from going back to the National Archives. And then the DOJ, because it's also part of the executive branch, can say to the National Archives, we'd like to see those documents back now. So there is no executive privilege to be asserted. There is no implications to the assertion of executive privilege.
Unless Aileen Canon believes, hey, just like the QAnon folks, that Trump's been secretly president the whole time, then he'd be able to assert his executive privilege.
Or she believes that the president has the power to just walk away with government documents.
Be an interesting precedent is that every president can just walk out with
But speaking of precedent, precedent, like Sam just mentioned it. This was already settled in that Nixon case.
Yep.
So we know.
And remember, these are documents the National Archives was trying for months and months and months to get back from Trump.
And he obscured and lied about it.
Yep.
And also, like, what is a little even more troubling is the government can appeal this, but it goes to, I wrote this down here, whatever circuit it is, the 11th Circuit, but there's 11 judges on there and 6 of them are Trump appointees.
Yeah, and the other ones could be other Republicans too.
But yeah, right.
And you're getting I think it would be a 3-person panel from that court. Then you could theoretically go to en banc if the government loses in that. Then it could go to the Supreme Court, and then maybe it's 2025.
That's the whole point of this.
That's the whole point.
Stern said this, Mark Joseph Stern of Slate said this as soon as the Canon was assigned as the judge. The whole point of this is to slow walk this, to bog this down so that, they're unable to essentially formally announce any charges prior to the midterm elections, which it seemed like they were going to wait anyway, right? Or I forget exactly what they were going to do. But either way, it helps. It's a stalling tactic. So you could just like bog it down in bureaucracy.
There is a theory that I think Marcy Wheeler has talked about where the DOJ could go to a different court. That would be the DC Circuit Court and attempt to get these documents via the National Archives Act or some act associated with the National Archives, where the DOJ wouldn't be seeking access for their investigation, rather the National Archives would be like, we want our documents back now, please. And they would go to the National Archives, and then the DOJ would get them, which might speed up the process in some fashion or another. But that's where we're at. This is as ridiculous as Trump's lawyers are. If you got a judge who's willing to just sort of like specifically try and stop the DOJ's investigation, and she doesn't really feel like she needs to justify her reasoning in any way that is anything other than making up stuff, there you go.
Who needs lawyers?
Right. What do you think this, I have no answer for this, so I'm curious about your take. What do you think this has an impact on Trump's desire to announce his candidacy?
I think, and that raises a good point. There's a story today about the DOJ is weighing its 60-day rule. And the 60-day rule is it's really more of like a ethic. It's not really a rule. And that internal rule for the DOJ is that 60 days out from an election, we generally draw down on an investigation and sort of like put it on hold unless there's something that is extremely urgent that needs to be done within those 60 days.
And Cannon's decision here makes it much more difficult to accelerate the investigation.
Well, you can't do anything with it grinds it to a halt, and it's not going to just be for 60 days. It's going to be for an extended period of time. Remember, this is not the only investigation that the DOJ has of Trump. They also have the January 6th investigation, which is in many respects far more, at least insofar as what we know, far more, I think important. If it turns out that Trump was like selling shit to, I don't know, North Korea or China or the Saudis, or giving it for, like a hotel. I don't know. I always wanted to open a hotel here. I'd like to be the first American hotelier to open in North Korea. I don't know. Did I just drop something? Oh, what's that piece of paper? Oh, okay. I mean, we don't know. We do know there's only like 48 folders that said top secret that are just empty.
Those are empty when I got them. I thought it was weird too.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. What I like to do for friends and family, when I give them a card, I like to put it in a folder that says top secret. It's cute.
Yeah.
I was present. It's cute.
It's kitschy. I love the kitsch.
So they are, the DOJ is doing this investigation. This doesn't, implicate the Georgia investigation at all, because this is a federal, this is just the DOJ. And again, it's not a law. It's just a rule that they have for themselves to make sure that they're above reproach. They also are having to work out, like, does investigating Trump fall within the purview of this rule, because he's not on the ballot. In fact, he's not a Republican official really at all, but they also know that he is closely associated with it. And it is, I'll just read from this New York Times. The department manual prohibits deliberately selecting the timing of any official action, quote, for the purpose of affecting any election or to intentionally help or hurt a particular candidate or party. It is vaguer about steps that do not have that motive, but still raise that perception. In such a case, it says officials should consult the department's public integrity section. And so, like, this is a gray area. And I don't know. You read these things And you wonder, is this trying to like why is this piece coming out now?
Yeah.
I mean, could be just like somebody at the time's like, I wonder about that rule. Or it could also be that there are elements out there saying like, we want to make it clear to the public that we are determining whether we're going to do this or not. And it could also be, we also, maybe want to freeze Trump in some way.